Welcome to Man in the Sands pub. So this is our first tasting on affordable whiskey. I'm not going to dictate to you what affordable is, but for me, I'm starting with a very well priced blended Scotch. It's Dewar's 18-year vintage. Now, there's a reason why I'm starting with Dewars, and it's this. I always hear that whiskey is an old man's drink, or it's a male-dominated industry, and perhaps historically it has been, but it's changing. Dewars has Stephanie McLeod as their master distiller. Fantastic master distiller, recognized in her trade, award-winning distiller. So we're starting from a whiskey home with a female award-winning master distiller. And I think that's fantastic to begin our videos with. So take your prejudices, throw them out, and let's get on with this. Now, what do we have in front of us? 18-year single malt and grain blended whiskey. They had to be 18-year in age. They've then gone through 3 years maturity in American bourbon oak casks. If it was Irish, they then go from the 3 years into a pot still. For Dewars, they then marry everything in an oak vat. And that's important because Dewars' history has always been about blended Scotch. It's one of the preferred Scotches in America. There's a history going back to an old president. And again, if you want to know more about this distillery, which is located in Perthshire in Scotland, then you Google it, because I am not your Google. I'm going to get straight in the whiskey tasting. So, Padre, join me. Look at this bottle. A 1 litre bottle for approximately 70 dirhams, 80 dirhams, my currency where I live. Look at the quality. Dewars is owned by Bacardi. Bacardi really have gone in for embossed labeling, the design, everything smacks of quality. Hello. Isn't that wonderful to hear? Now, I had a sneaky taste earlier to get my senses. And straight off, I would like to share with you that this whiskey on ice is terrible. Terrible. So let's not bother, honestly. In fact, if you want to see my face. Oh, no. Gone. So, now we're going to taste properly, and we've got rid of that. I'm not going to waste your time. Let's start. And where do we start? Hats off, game on. So, we are left with this wonderful entrance whiskey. For those of you who, like me, have enjoyed whiskey over the years and have a real gravitas towards certain types of whiskey, this may not be for you at all. But it could be for those who are new to whiskey or those who actually want bang for buck quality. I mean, 18 years, come on. Everyone goes to buy an 18-year single malt. So is it the same? No. But for the money, what are we getting? Well, Dewars themselves, founded in 1846, they've had a long time to work it out. And some of their whiskies, their blended whiskies, who Stephanie McLeod has actually designed, have been award-winning as well. This is a very well-known single malt blend. So again, they have to be qualified as 18-year-old single malts. They run through a 3-year American bourbon oak cask. Then they're in a vat, marrying. Tricky marriage, isn't it? Starts off, feels good, later on, ooh. And by the end of it, you know each other's end of sentences, movements, body language, etc. And that's the same with whiskey. So let's start with this little baby. Here we go. Doesn't have the oomph that other whiskies have had, that I've tasted recently. But it's a beginner's whiskey, we must remember that. Has a bit more of an alcohol in the nose. But also marzipan, if that's right, I'd say marzipan. Now they do list marzipan as well as honey as the tasting notes, and I'd have to agree with that. Okay, wish me luck. I'm not sure it's gonna be good or bad. All I know is on ice, but I suspected that, so here we go. Well, there's no oomph. There's no hurricane of happiness. But it's not bad. It is not bad at all. It needs breathing. You want to set it out and let it breathe for at least 20 minutes. Don't drink it straight off, because it's too medicinal in that sense. I personally wouldn't drink this naked. I wouldn't. Or naked as nature intended, as opposed to naked, but one never knows. What am I wearing underneath? You never know. Please don't switch off the channel. It's just joking, just a jest. So, would I drink this? Not like this, I wouldn't. But I'm going to give it an opportunity, so here we go. Here's the interesting thing. Whilst I'm saying I wouldn't drink it naked as nature intended, it gives a little burn, which is why you need to let it breathe. Once you've let it breathe, it isn't that bad at all. It's actually, I've got to say, very good for the money. Not bad. And if you're new to whiskey, this isn't a bad starting point. But it has complexity that I think when you're new to whiskey, you won't pick up on straight away. There are layers to this. So it's gone down, but I'm still chewing, I'm still masticating in the senses because I'm picking up things. Actually, fair play to Dewars. This is complex and I can't even imagine how they produced it, that you drunk and you're like, and now I'm going, ooh, that's interesting. Butterscotch. That wasn't there, 10 seconds ago, 20 seconds ago. It's smooth. I wouldn't say silky smooth, but it's smooth. Let me go onto the water. Yes! Completely different. Now that surprised me immediately in my mouth. I thought, this is not the same. It's like a magic trick. I'm telling you, add the Padre. What he does, the unseen, it delivers. Wow. I'm telling you, bit of water. So you see, you don't get the intensity of the sense of the alcohol, the medicinal. I dare, you may not believe me, but I would dare say almost marzipan, honey-ish, candied fruits. Subtle, but there. Oh, that's wonderful. With water, that is beautiful. So imagine, in my money, 70 or 80 dirhams, a 1 litre quality bottle with a wonderful aesthetic sound, coming in this wonderful presentation box. I mean, Bacardi have really pushed the boat out here, I think, to send out more of a new design, try and get perhaps a new audience. I highly recommend this as a drinking whiskey with water as a gift. Drink it at home with friends. It's smooth. It does have a little burn, but it's 70 to 80 dirhams. I mean, my goodness. I don't see how you're going to get anything better. I think Dewars have really banged this out of the park for what it is. And in fact, I think they've treated us to more than we're really allowed to, we're deserved. The bottle, the design, it's quality. And when you've been tasting whiskey over the years and your palate changes over the years, as it does anyway, you know, I used to be a great Macallan fan in my young 20s. My father didn't like it. My father was a great PT fan, or a Middleton, or a, I was actually going to say very much most PT whiskies, smoky whiskies, a Lagavulin as an example, and a Lefroy. He was there at that part in his life. I was at that end. Now I've got to say I'm more towards where he was. And that's why I'm saying, if I'm saying that this is a wonderful, easy drinking whiskey with a drop of water, trust me, bang for buck. I'm going to challenge myself. We've got many affordable whiskies to try. But as a blend, Dewars, the whole thing, buy it, take it around to someone's house and say to them, have you seen Man in the Sands pub? If you don't believe me, drop of water, you're going to love this. It's a delightful, easy drinking whiskey. Well, on that note, my hat is back on, so time to go. Oh, lovely. Look how easy I drink it. It's lovely. Stay safe, be good, have a great time. Please do share this with your friends and family if you like it. There's a lot more to come. When we get to more complex whiskies, it should be quite interesting as well. I cannot be held responsible for my behavior. Stay safe, take care. Thanks for joining me.